accept some preliminary work from FEH as far as what it would look like if that was done.
Yeah, so we need a facility. We've outgrown where we're at when we did this merger. We don't have a meeting room big enough to hold everybody. We have no more garage space left. So if we have to add another ambulance or something, we don't have a place to put it at this point. So we're just trying to keep up with the future. We did the needs assessment that was done by FEH Architects. This is a nice location that fits a 24 to 25,000 square foot building, Brian, that basically we don't have to buy something, tear it down and then start over. So my recommendation is you buy the ground now, and in a couple years, you haven't done it and you don't think it's gonna work, you give it back. If you think it's gonna work, then you go and you move forward and you decide what you're gonna do with the other one, and sell it or whatever you're gonna do with it to maybe offset some cost in the future. But to find a lot this size that fits our insurance rating for our community for response districts, that's on a main route or a main thoroughfare is tough to do without buying something and tearing something down. So with the city's acquisition of the industrial area from 27th all the way to C38, this fits a 2.5 mile distance. Just moving the 9 blocks west that we don't meet right now with our current stations. Our station downtown is in good shape for Willow Run Boulevard, North Greenview, our new wastewater plant west of town. We can make that 2.5 miles from the station downtown. So we pretty much, once we build in this new location, have our community covered for the next 20, 30 years, if it fills in like it hopefully will. But with the amount of calls and the amount of things we're handling, we're gonna need a station that fits our needs. You know, our city's been notorious at buying buildings and making them work, and we've made Station 1 work. That was an REC building. I mean, we're standing in Ben Franklin. You know, we took a motor in and made it a nice police station. This gives us an opportunity to start fresh, and build an actual fire station that's made to be a fire station. And after the talk today, I was glad it didn't fit with tennis court, because I see how that was gonna go. We're trying to put it on Station 2, but the square footage up there just didn't meet. We found this spot. Steve Schuster's got the property. He's here today. He's been great to work with on it. And so I would recommend we buy it, and that doesn't mean we're turning dirt tomorrow. At least we've got a spot, and it's good ground in the center of our community that could be used for something else if this wouldn't happen to transpire in the future. But I think as our town continues to grow and our industrial park grows, we progressively have to keep up with public safety, and this is one option for that. Thank you.
I have a question about the steps in this process. We're being asked to devote some of our ARPA money, 200,000 of it. This isn't a purchase agreement or something yet. Is that yet to be done?
That will
Acted on?
that will need to get done.
I have one prepared,
And
not finalized, but prepared.
So that'll come to us.
Well, I mean, if you
Some
guys,
future time.
if you guys agree to move forward with this purchase, I mean, Mark, and I see Mr. Schuster in the back of the room, kind of move forward with getting the purchase agreement put together and signed, and we can move forward with buying it. We're not selling ground, so that doesn't require the public hearing process that
Okay.
otherwise we would need.
So the how and when of that is just sometime soon.
Next 45 days, that's just,
And it doesn't need to come to us then.
no,
Because, all right.
this is it.
And it's a small piece of a bigger puzzle that the chief's talking about that is 7 figures plus of construction and design and license tax and dealer prep and all this other stuff that we gotta do. That is no commitment whatsoever yet, just plans.
Right. I mean, we have the drawing and things. So
You have a drawing.
we have a drawing. We have a layout. We have a needs assessment. You know, now we need some ground, and then in the future, it would be up to all of us to decide, can we do it, how we fund it.
But when you say drawing, you don't mean plans.
No,
You mean
no,
just a.
concept drawing.
Yes.
Concept drawing. So we
Did they-
don't have formal plans, specifications, and things like that yet.
which would cause a much more refined estimate of what we may someday spend.
Correct.
Did they include any kind of guesstimate based on square footage involved of cost per square foot of a fire station?
$350 a square foot.
Okay.
So about 8.8 million for this size of a building.
All right. That's what I was getting to.
Mhm.
We're not-
So-
We're not committing to that today.
No, not at all. That's later discussions, and then how do you fund that? You know, and we have several options for that, but that's all to be determined in the future, and when the time fits for us to be able to do that. Plus, we have a building to sell or keep or do something with as well with Station 2 up by those tennis courts, so, yeah.
Some group of us, like the Public Safety Committee, will then be involved in future steps to
Right.
do that.
The nice thing
Where
is.
and how it fits in our community plan and all that cool
Right.
stuff.
The nice thing is this fits, it's in the TIF district. You know, there's bonding, there's local option sales tax, there's several people that have already offered donations when they saw the concept drawing.
Imagine that.
We've got several donations already, you know, to help towards that if we need, so I think this is a great thing for our community development plan, you know, going forward. This is something that the town will need in the future, and whether I'm here to see it or not, that's yet to be determined, but I think we lay the groundwork as a group here and see where it goes from there in the future.
I'm just trying to keep a clear picture in mind of what we're doing today and what we're not doing today.
Yeah, so today, basically, we want you to approve the ARPA funds, which we have to do by code for the federal government. We buy the ground, and then we sit tight until, in the future, with public safety meetings and things, we decide, community betterment plan, where this all fits together. But I hate to lose out on that ground, not that Steve Schuster would sell it to somebody else that walked in and offered him more money, but he might. So I'm thinking this is a great location for the price. We jump on it while we have the opportunity, and then in the future, we decide, do it or sell it.
And this 200,000 is not the price.
No, it's $350.
Okay.
The other 150 is covered.
It's covered.
Yep.
It's been
That was
donated.
donated, fundraised for.
Well, that's nice.
It's very nice. So we just need approval for the 200 since it's ARPA funds, so we keep our paperwork all clean and neat. And then Mr. Murphy can work on the purchase agreement, and then we sit tight and decide in the future what we want to do with that. For
I
sure.
appreciate Mike Down, I appreciate those questions, I really do, because I think that's very good to clear up. I think it's a great location. Whether it fits all of your mileage and all that stuff, I don't know, but I'd just take your word for it. I think it's a great location. I also think that as a community, we have to recognize that volunteerism is fastly becoming from the past. So we have to prepare, both in fire and rescue, we have to prepare for probably a facility that accommodates the smaller communities that even struggle with volunteerism even more. So, but I appreciate, you know, that we're not okaying a plan at this point, we're just laying the groundwork, so I can live with that.
Thank you.
Then I'd make a motion approving the allocation of $200,000 of the American Rescue Plan Act funds toward the purchase of approximately 2.14 acres of land along 12th Street Southwest.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion items. Jason?
I don't really have anything specific. I don't know if this was down on the bottom where we have the dates. I don't know if this was on last council's packet with the spring cleanup dates. Have been set. So May 13th is a Saturday, and then the following week of May 15th and 19th. Same rules, same everything that goes along with that. No updates on projects really, other than project will get started next week with Terrell, so.
Is Premier taken care of?
They'll be, yeah, they've got their stuff marked out, so it's a matter of specialized concrete tearing out the existing to see whether or not Premier needs to do any adjustments with their drops. And they won't know that till the existing is tore off. So. That's really all I have.
All right. Jacob?
Think that
Mark, do you have anything?
Yeah, just if any of the folks who spoke up about the tennis courts are still there, the more I hear those folks and the more emails I read and I think about, that's my response about our trails. People say how many are using your rec trail, and I hear what they're saying. We haven't addressed it officially, but when we do, I definitely gonna take that into consideration.
Good. Steve?
Nothing.
I don't have anything. Clark?
A few things, and one of them is tennis courts. I would really want people to understand something, and that is, a lot of times when you're up here making decisions and or looking at things, you are relying on the testimony of other people as to whether you need a new motor grader or a new fire engine or a new, how much something's used. I don't play tennis, I don't go by there. I was reminded today, proudly, that those went in probably under my father's watch when Bone Break was built, back in the mid-60s. And so I'm guessing they probably were put in pretty well. But these guys, I really appreciate citizens that pay attention. And yeah, they're passionate about a certain area, but I will admit that maybe those courts' usage, to my understanding, is different than what it was a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, like Mark, I will listen to some stuff, but I also am going to be very adamant about if we're going to do something with them, we're going to do it right. We're not gonna Band-Aid it, period. So just that, and basically that's it, that's all I got.
Right.
When are we supposed to start resurfacing 12th Street?
Beginning of June. So the stipulation was when school was out.
Is there any talk of filling the larger potholes before that, or are they just gonna let them go till June?
I was thinking the ones on the
They're
very,
impressive.
very west end, I'm getting several complaints about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They could be. I mean, it'll be a month and a half before we get to it. Yeah, they can be.
Okay, thank you.
We're not moped worthy, I can tell you that.
Not bicycle, not barely vehicle. worthy.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in spending too much money on them either.
Have some cold mix.
Just throw some cold mix in there and call it good.
Right.
That's all I had.
Mike?
Wasn't there a time when there was an advisory group of citizens that would have some input for these things that we don't necessarily deal with every day like that?
Park board?
Okay, I don't know. There used to be something, and whenever these come up in the future, this will be how we get our information, I guess. If we're content with that, we just keep doing it this way.
Yeah. That's a good thought.
Well, the park board with Clark sat on it, I think.
Me and Delano were both on it, actually, and Patty Sitzman for all of
I
others.
was on it.
Yeah, they were nominated. It was a
Advisory group.
well, it was actually in our code. It was a group established by our code.
Appointed by,
The mayor.
Appointed by the mayor.
By the mayor.
and the other mayor didn't like it and dissolved it.
That is basically
I know.
100% the way it went.
So is it still in the code? If the new mayor does like it? he
We had
can
it
do
removed.
What?
It's removed now.
Okay, so,
When it was disbanded, we took that chapter out.
but it would take some action like that, okay.
Yeah, you'd have to reestablish it.
I'm just wondering out loud, not necessarily proposing.
I'm curious, would it have to be an official reestablishment? I mean, the mayor appoints it, and it's a board of people. I'm asking a question.
It'd be best. to do it the right way if we're gonna do it.
Some formalities,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Again, it's volunteerism, back to your point.
If it's
not easy
formed
to
in
find
that way.
people For these, yeah.
The accountability can be built in if we want to.
Mhm. Sure.
I think the mayor would testify that that's one of the first things I mentioned when you came on board, was I'd like to see that board resurrected. Because I think citizens input, you can include the golf course in that, you can include the parks, and have a board that filters through this stuff.
Do you remember, Clark, how many people comprised that?
Me, Delana, Patty Six,
There was 5 of us when I was on it.
I'm trying to think of the other.
Exclusive of council members.
The other member, there was a couple other members, I can't remember, I'm gonna say 5.
I bring it up as a possible future agenda item. We don't have to debate it now, but it's a way to handle stuff like this maybe.
Yep. Okay.
Can I
Is
say
that it?
Can I say one more on the input is, the other thing, when people want tennis courts and bike trails and these things cost money, and people need to understand that, but I also am very aware that Cleveland Park doesn't pay for itself. There's no way. The swimming pool does, I get that. The golf course does not pay for itself, although it does pretty good. Most amenities that attract people are not gonna, it's not about paying for themselves, so once again, we go back to the tax levy, we go back to, we gotta come up with the money somewhere, so, you know, just in the recent view of all the, tax assessments, observations, that's what helps generate that, so I'm done, sorry.
Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, there a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. After they said that, that's